Hi, hello, and thank you for joining this learning session with the IgnitED Labs at Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, the title of which is Creating Interactive Applications Using PowerPoint. My name is Sabrina Cervantes Villa. I will be presenting this learning session, but I do want to say thank you to my partner, Miguel Melo, who created the reference sheet that goes alongside it. That particular reference sheet does go over some user interface design principles, which are very relevant for the design of interactive applications. If you're interested in looking at that reference sheet, that is available at our site at ignitedlabs.education.asu.edu. So the content of this particular learning session covers creating interactive applications using PowerPoint, and that does come with two major assumptions. The first one being that a task flow has been well established, as well as a storyboard, meaning that you know what your slides are going to look like and in what order they're going to go. So at this point, you should now be looking at creating a prototype for that specific user experience. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. So in preparation for this learning session, I did create this prototype for an application that goes over some of the major functionalities that the IgnitED Labs website goes over. So by looking at it, we can see that it does look like a regular PowerPoint presentation and that there are words on each slide. I also created what just visually appear to be buttons. But if we were to put this into slideshow mode, we can see that this, as of now, does just work like a regular presentation. I can click anywhere on the slide. I can use the arrows on my keyboard and that'll go between slides. For an interactive application, that's not exactly what we're looking for. So in doing so, I need to go ahead and enable kiosk mode. So I'm going to go to slideshow. I'm going to go to set up slideshow. The default mode that I just showed you, that's this first option here, presented by a speaker full screen. So I want to change that to browsed at a kiosk full screen and press OK. And in doing so, we can see that by pressing slideshow, if I were to choose resources, for example, that's going to take me to tech resources. If I were to go home, it'll take me home, about us, and home again. So what does that mean for the rest of the presentation? How do we get from the resources to the tech resources page? And how does all of that work? And the answer to that is really live action buttons. So PowerPoint is well aware that users want to use their software for these types of prototypes. So we can create those by choosing the insert button. So let's say here, this EDT 180 support, we're going to recreate this button. So I can delete that here. Like I said, it is on the insert tab. So if I go to insert, I go to shapes and I scroll down to the bottom here, we have these action buttons and these are different shapes, as you can see. For this case, I want to use a blank one. PowerPoint will give me some guides here so to make sure that they are the same size, and I'll get this dialog box that'll pop up. So action on click, as of now, it says none. We want to choose hyperlink to, and that'll give me a choice on where I want this particular button to take me. So as I said before, that was the EDT 180 support button. So I want that to go to a very particular slide. And in this case, as the creator, I know that I want that to go to the visit an ETC page. So I'll click it, I'll press OK. I'll press OK on this dialog box. And now that button, that's where that'll take me. In order to make it look the same as the rest of them, because right now it's just a blue button, I can right click that. I can change the style. I can use like this button here. I can type here as well. And that is just in the default text. So I can go ahead and change that to match the rest. So that's Arial, bolded, and font size 24. So I'll click out of that. And now just by hovering over it, I know that that'll take me to the visit an ETC page. If you want to check that out, you can test it by putting it into kiosk mode, clicking it, and it should take you there. So we can go home now. And that's how we'll do that. So another major point that I want to mention, as you can see here, we do have these social media buttons here. If I were to click that and I were to click on these, that would take me to the Ignited Labs social media pages. But how did I get that there? Because as you can see, if I were to just scroll from slide to slide, they're in the exact same position. So we want to create a way or find a way to put those in the same exact places without creating as much of a hassle with the whole copy and paste thing. So in that particular case, you would choose the master slide. So I can go to view, I can go to slide master here, and we'll have this come up. So if by default, it brings you here, but I do want to mention that this slide up top, this is the master slide. So anything that you change here will change on every single slide. So in my case, I want my user to be able to access our social media pages regardless of what page they're on, even if it is the very first page. So in this case, I did insert these here, and you can see just as before, if I hover over them, it'll tell me where that's going to take me. This slide immediately under, that's going to be the title slide, and it tells you there used by slide 1. Whereas here, it'll tell me that the title and content layout is used by slides 2 through 5. And you can notice that the major difference here is the addition of the home and the back button. So by doing this, this will take us home, and the whole reasoning behind that is that I don't want there to be a home button on the home slide, and the back button wouldn't serve much of a purpose on the title slide as well. So let's say here that I remove this link just for the sake of this learning session to show you how I did that. I can remove this link, and so from there it would not serve any functionality. Here, I can link it, and I can say that I want it to go to the first slide. It'll show me a preview just to ensure that that is what I want, and then I'll select OK. So by doing that, that is how I'll make the home button show up on every single slide, and I'll close the master view. So that is how you create an interactive application with PowerPoint. Those are really just some of the major functionalities. Of course, there was a lot of work that went into designing these particular slides themselves and ensuring that they follow some of those UI design principles. As I said, you can check that out on our website, which is ignitedlabs.education.asu.edu. You can also follow our social media pages, which should be seen here. And by doing so, you can stay up with our upcoming learning sessions as well as anything else Ignited Labs related. So thank you again for tuning in. My name is Sabrina Cervantes Villa. Have a great day.